Welcome everyone to Beyond the Finish Line, where I review the latest weekly challenges, show which cars I used, and offer you potential cars to use yourself to complete the challenges. Typically, I like to use cars I haven't driven before or haven't driven much, unless the challenge calls for a specific car. I'll also show what changes I made to any car in order to make the race more challenging for myself. And also show you the strategy I used for the fifth race, which has always been a race with tire wear and fuel consumption, and can be the most challenging of the bunch. Now I'll quickly go through each race and showcase any highlights and blunders I may have had, and show what it took for me to get the win. And before we start, please like, comment and subscribe. A simple click for you is a big help to the channel and is appreciated more than I can express. Thank you. Okay, so here we are with March Week 2, weekly challenges. We've skipped over Week 1, because there was no challenges that week and the drop date changed to Fridays after update 1.43. This week, the first race is a special event in the new Renault R4, Race 2 is the European Clubman 600, Race 3 is the Ferrari Circuit Challenges, Race 4 is the Schwarzwald League, and Race 5 is a Group 1 prototype series. The one-make special event in the Renault is just 2 laps at Alsace, and with the changes I made to the R4, it takes over 3 minutes to complete a lap, and here are those changes. The R4 is fully upgraded, so I lowered the output adjustment and power restrictor, and added weight, and I also removed the high RPM turbocharger, and I'm running racing softs. Jumping slightly ahead, I picked up 2 quick positions, but on this uphill it struggled with speed and I eventually lost one of those positions, but then gained 3 on this right turn, taking the outside line, getting around the AI. A little further down the track, still in the first lap, I got into P3 going around this bend, then carrying a ton of speed on the next right-hander, I flew by P2, but ended up trailing P1 for a little bit. P1 began pulling away from me here, showing my lack of power, and then P3 overtook me with ease seconds later, making me wonder if I lowered the power too much for this race. Shortly after, on this left turn, I was able to get back P2 with an inside cut, but ended up still trailing P1. On the final left leading to the line, I made the pass for P1, and I was able to hold on to it for the entire final lap and get the win. Second race is the European Clubman Cup 600, 3 laps at Suzuka Circuit, and I'm driving the newly added Audi TT Coupe, and this is the setup I used for this race. I bought the fully customizable racing transmission and added just the sports upgrades, and again I'm driving on racing softs. I moved up the back of the field, gaining positions early and steadily through this section of S's, making all my passes on the outside without any real issues, and found myself in P15 at the end of it. Starting the second lap, I moved into P11, with the pack ahead of me not far away, and again started making passes on the S's, but it wasn't that easy this time. I had to be careful not to crash into the AI. I got caught up in a little traffic jam here, with a lot of little bumping with the AI, trying to find an opening, which I did once we spread out a bit, and by the end of it all I got myself into P4 just before the start of the third. And here, yet again on the S's, I was able to make the moves to get by P3 and P2 and start my chase on P1 to get the lead. I caught him on this bend, and after an unintentional little bump, he went wide, and I got P1 heading into the back stretch of the track, and that was it for this one. I was able to stay ahead and take the victory. Third race is the Ferrari Circuit Challenge, 5 laps at Catalunya, and I chose for this race to drive the 91 Ferrari Testarossa, and here's the setup I used for this one. Just like the Audi, I got the fully customizable racing transmission, the sports upgrades only, and I'm on racing softs. Through the first lap, I quickly moved up the back half of the field pretty easily with a lot of outside overtakes and no problems from these AI. At this point, the front half started to distance themselves from the back half, but with 5 laps and still only being in the first, I had enough time to catch them. Starting the third, I was in P4, but didn't have the speed to pass P3 on the straight, so I knew I would have to get him on any of the upcoming turns, and I did just that on turn 1, with a little contact. And on the same turn, I got P2 in the 4th lap, and shortly after I was able to get by P1 for the lead, and kept it for the rest of the 4th and final lap to claim the victory in the Testarossa. Race 4 is the Schwarzwald League, with 4 laps at St. Croix, and I'm in the Group 4 BMW M4, and here are the changes I made for the race. All I did was lower the output adjustment, bought the fully customizable transmission, racing soft tires, and I have no other upgrades installed. I finally caught up to the AI about a quarter way into the first lap, quickly moved into P15 and just as quickly lost it, and then watched the AI pull away from me, so at this point I wasn't too sure if I had enough power. I secured P15 shortly after, but then again watched the AI pull away from me on this straight, and now I was wondering if the AI at the front were just as fast and pulling away too, making it harder for me to catch them. I finally got by the AMG and Porsche, then had a little drag race with another AMG, but thanks to the AI braking early, I got by him as well and got into P12. Later in the second lap, I had gained a few more positions and then got a couple more to get myself into P7. To start the third, I was in P5 watching P4 pull away, but again the early braking got me the overtake and the position from him. Starting the final lap, I moved up to P2 with P1 in my sights ahead. I almost secured P1 here, but the Porsche overpowered me and took it back, but I knew I could eventually get him because of the early braking. And that happened just a little after, and I was able to hold on to the lead from there till the finish for the win in the M4. Fifth and final race is the Group 1 Prototype Series, 10 laps at Daytona Road Course, and I'm driving the GTR LM Nismo. No changes made for this one, I just bought the available upgrades. I have my fuel map set to 4 and I'm running on racing hard tires for this race. Softs barely make it through 3 laps, and the hard tires can get you to the end of lap 5. I finally caught up to the AI on this section of the ring, and picked up a quick 4 positions, and on the other side of the ring I picked up another quick 4 as well. Here in the third, and in P9, I had a little moment but managed to keep it together and luckily not lose any positions. I had a little scare in the fourth going into the bus stop, thought I was going to get hit from behind, but the AI braked enough to miss me and I made it through pretty clean. End of the fifth and now in P3, I head to the pit. I was low on fuel and my front tires were pretty much done, and I exited in P7 with quite a few cars behind me. Starting the 8th, I got back P3 due to the AI pitting, then had another moment in the same spot, but held it together, lost P3, then quickly gained it back. I moved into P2 with this inside pass, then got into P1 due to pitting, and held on without any more moments to get the win, and finish off this week's challenges. So after a short hiatus, March week 2 of the weekly challenges had some good racing for the most part. Aside from the first race, like I always say, being a slow race, the rest were pretty fun in the cars I chose. The only cool thing about race 1 was using the new Renault, but being at Alsace, and with that uphill, it almost felt like a struggle to get the car going, plus only having 33 horsepower to make it a challenge didn't help. Race 2 at Suzuka in the Audi TT was pretty fun, getting to use another new car, and it handling pretty well made it a good race, having that little traffic jam and not getting the lead till later in the final lap added to the fun. Third race at Catalunya in the Testarossa was an unexpected pleasure in that car. Didn't know how it would handle, but it did just fine, and getting to race a classic legend will always be fun. Race 4 at St. Croix in the Group 4 M4 was a little worrisome because of the cars that would pull away easily, but with the great handling of the M4 at high speeds, it made it a good race in the end. The fifth and final race at Daytona in the GTR LM Nismo was the hardest of them all because of the car. It took a couple races to understand how it handles, and that was the biggest challenge for me. All in all, like I said, a good week of racing. Even the Renault race wasn't that bad, just very slow. I'm happy with the selection of cars I chose, even the LM Nismo. It may not have been the best car for the race, but learning it was fun. Hope you enjoyed this episode. Let me know in the comments what cars you used for the challenges, and see you next time.